Monday, April 11th will mark 1 year since Dante Wright was killed during a traffic stop when Brooklyn Center police officer Kim Potter mistook her gun for a taser. In the last year, we've seen efforts to reform public safety right here in Brooklyn Center and on a state level too. Representative Cedrick Frazier of New Hope has been part of many of those discussions on reform. We spoke to him about some of those efforts for this Newsmakers segment.
Well, I think we're still having a conversation about any policies or statutes that we can put in place to prevent that death from happening. You know, last year after Dante was killed, I brought the bill along with Representative Moeller that would have stopped pretextual stops. It would have prevented officers from doing those pretextual stops. So if there was something hanging from your rearview mirror, expired tabs, broken taillights, anything that wasn't really a safety hazard, we would have stopped those, prevented those kind of pretextual stops that led to Dante Wright's tragic death.
So a little bit of progress there. Public Safety Innovation Act, progress on that as well.
Yeah, we just passed the bill out of committee. It is headed to Ways and Means, so hopefully we'll be headed to the floor soon. It's really what I believe is a comprehensive bill to address the crime rise that we're seeing here in the state of Minnesota. And it's not just in the metro area, it's all over the state, and the bill addresses that. The bill deals with all of the top 20 counties, cities, and tribal areas that are seeing an increase in crime, and it's providing $150 million in terms of resources to invest in communities to provide them with the tools they need to deal with the rise in crimes.
And some of the descriptive words on that I think are important. Expedited, data-driven. Why was it important to include those?
Those are important because, for one, we want to have a pot of community grants that we can get out as quickly as possible. So as soon as the bill passes, we want to get those resources out to communities so they can focus on those crime prevention, intervention programs and get resources to law enforcement to prepare for the upcoming summer months and then throughout the year as well. The data-driven piece is important because what we've seen when we've implemented these partnerships, co-responder programs, community crime prevention programs, and violence interrupter programs within communities, we've seen crime rates go down at a substantial rate. So we want to make sure that we're using data-driven, effective programming throughout.
All right, and this using interveners, we've seen that more and more. Do you think that's a trend that's here to stay and people are weighing into the success of that?
I think so. I think we are going to see that as a trend. It's here to stay. Law enforcement tells us that they like it. It's making their jobs easier. They're able to partner and become more acquainted with the community by working in partnership with these community organizations. So I think it's here to stay because it's effective. That's the main thing. When something is working, you want to lean into a little bit more resources to make sure it's sustainable, and you want to keep doing it.
All right, tell me about this peace officer standards bill that you've been working on.
So that's actually a part of the innovation package.
Okay.
So you've got the piece that will deal with building community trust with our police officers. Right now, there's a very high threshold that every other licensing board in the state does not have. Right now, if you're a peace officer and if there's a complaint against you, the peace officer standard board that gives you your license, they can't take any action on that unless there is a conviction at the gross misdemeanor level or at the felony level. What we're trying to do is say, hey, you have a very important job. It is to protect and serve our community. We trust in you to do a lot. We're giving you the discretion to actually infringe upon our civil liberties, so we believe you should be held to a high standard. And when I talk to rank and file officers, they agree they should be held to a higher standard. They take pride in the work that they do. And so essentially what this would do is we'll be able to treat them like every other professional licensing board in the state of Minnesota.
All right, Representative Cedrick Frazier, a lot going on right now. We'll be watching to see how it goes.
Thanks for having me.
Find more local news stories at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.